thanks again for taking your time to come out. We're going to have a really informal advisory committee / tour of the school because I really want you all to see some things out in the building, some things that we've changed, some new things that we've done probably since you were last year. And I want you to see those things rather than listen to me sit here and talk about them. So we're going to be really informal, and I'm going to be really free. Hand-selected students that our teachers chose to hang around today to kind of get to know you all, to mingle a little bit. These are some really great students that we're proud of. They come to school every day, they work hard, they present themselves in a marketable way. They are learning some skills that can be very, very valuable out in the workplace, but also skills that help them provide for themselves and their family. And we're really proud of them. If you're looking for summer help, afternoon help, or people to help you in the future, you need to grab hold of some of these guys and get them on your payroll, because I really think they would be a benefit to you. And I want you to talk to them as you go through, and I want them to talk to you and ask questions, and so I want you to kind of intermingle with them as well. So with that said, right next to us here is Mr. Musgrave. I believe, third year. This is Mr. Musgrave's third year. He teaches engineering mostly, some civil engineering and engineering design, principles of engineering and that type of thing. Also a little bit of computer-aided drafting, and he does a really good job as well.
Well, I kind of have the basic two building blocks for the engineering, I guess you'd say. I teach the introduction to engineering, where they learn just engineering fundamentals, basically design and development, the design process, and then what goes on, research and development, things like that. And then we go, and you can see the classes that are offered. The second one is principles of engineering, where they learn more about the physics and the all the math that would be involved in the engineering. And then in the first two classes, they do a lot of this stuff that you see on the computers right here, just CAD, like computer-aided drafting. This is called Inventor. It's AutoCAD Inventor, but some of the industries may use that, or they might use something like SolidWorks or something of that sort. And then we also got civil engineering, and that's what I've got set up back here. What we did last couple weeks ago, teaching the students how to read a transit. I mean, obviously, you go by the highway department, or right here where they're cutting all the roads and stuff, putting new roads in, they're going to have to shoot that site, shoot the elevation and everything. So the students learn how to use a transit, site development, and things like that. And this is one of my civil engineering students, Alex Tipper, and he actually is going to show you a little demo on what they've been doing on the CAD program. What they did with that, the original project was basically a warehouse. It was in Noblesville, Indiana. They take a warehouse, an old warehouse, abandoned warehouse, and they've gutted it, and they're supposed to make it a community center. And what they did was they're going to develop it to be a library. And so they've got a little bit of the topography and everything like that, and then they've got the shell, so they went in there and redesigned the inside of that structure, following codes and regulations, looking up codes and requirements, and occupancy
formulas, rain, runoff, load, beam load, inertia, moments of inertia, how much force an object can take, anything from utilities to pounds per square inch. We've covered it, and we've had to use it in day-to-day skills on the computer program. And it's pretty interesting. If y'all want to come look at this, this is midway, almost completed, sort of, not really. Preview, overlay, walkthrough of the library. We had to start out and put the floors in the library, do all that good stuff, and then we had to export it into the hub, into the library site plan. And this is just going to kind of take you through a walkthrough of what we've created. And I've kind of added some special touches here and there. I'm a Ford man. You'll see two Fords parked out front here. And there's a library. And on the top floor right here, we had to put a green roof, sustainable green roof, as one of the what LEED, is it?
Yes.
LEED development projects. I had to calculate how many parking spaces you had to have, how many handicap spaces you had to have. Had to be very eco-friendly, sustainable to the environment, very green, save as much as you could. Just anything you can think of that you would have to use to build a house. The IBC, we use a lot of those codes. I mean, it's just like manual labor on a computer. It really is.
What is, they might not know what the IBC stands for?
International Building Codes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Building Council.
Building Council.
Building Council.
And
Code regulator.
it's been pretty neat, interesting. Started out from sketching and that kind of stuff, and now we're on a computer putting it all to work and
So,
making it run.
I guess you can probably show them the overhead view that
Here's the three-dimensional view, the isometric view.
that was, you know, they're given that topography map, and then they take that building and incorporate it into that. They had a
We started out with this, and then we had to put the parking lot and a retention pond. Had to calculate that.
yeah, for the
Yes, sir. For
because
the
you got to
parking lot.
develop a retention pond it's got to satisfy the pre-development, you know, what the pre-development runoff factor was. So you've got to be able to hold that amount of water on that area. So then they calculated how deep and how the size of that. And I told them we would just make ours 4 foot deep. So then they calculated what size, dimensions, whether they wanted to do a square or a circular pond. And so that was basically what we've covered on about the last week. Like last week was just post-development, pre-development, post-development runoff. And that course goes from residential, the first half of the class is mostly residential development, and then we switch over to commercial. So a lot of the applications that apply to residential, it kind of, you know, it's for commercial too, just on bigger scales.
And as you can see, I put a helicopter inside the library. I thought that would be kind of neat. So.
But I mean, from everything, from the number of urinals they have to have, the number of sinks, to fire escapes, you know, how many, you know, if they got 2 stories, right, or if it's, you know, they've got to have 2 exits on that second floor, and so they've got to put the stairwell and everything. And it's got to follow codes, so they do a lot of time researching those codes and regulations and everything. It's good, I mean, with civil engineering, it's almost as much as following rules and regulations as it is developing.
So it's 88.
Get a good idea.
It should be.
I've had probably 20 or 30 good ideas. Yeah, man, I'm going to do this. I'll look it up in the code. Can't do it. I got to start all over. But, I mean, it's been a great learning experience. Awesome software. You couldn't ask for anything better.
So what are your post-graduation plans?
My post-graduation plans, I've already been accepted to the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, going 3.5 years for a 6-year master's degree on mechanical engineering. I've got hopefully getting lined up for an internship at Volkswagen. My granddad's on the board there, maybe, positive, I don't know, hopefully. And after that, go and get my journeyman machinist license, and I'm going to try to minor in robotical engineering to try to, I don't know, I guess you could kind of say I'm going to kind of be leading the human workforce.
Well,
but
thank you.
I'm sorry. You have to be aggressive in today's economy, and that's the way I look at it.
It is called Vex Robotics, and they hook up a PLC to the computer, and then they have all these gears and sensors and motors and stuff in those boxes, and they learn how to program robots, just like, you know, you would see. They would use a C++ programming, robot C++ programming to write a computer language to make it do whatever it is they want it to do, and and that's the second engineering course. That was the Principles of Engineering. So those are the 2 that are required, is the introduction and then the principles. And then they kind of venture out depending on if they would rather go into digital electronics or civil engineering or computer integrated manufacturing. And more often than not, once they've taken those 2 engineerings, they take everything that they can. I mean, you get them over here for 1 or 2 classes and they're like, shoot, I like this. So.
Yeah, I've actually liked it so much that I have worked on my classes throughout to where next semester I'll be up here all day.
See, he actually goes to Cornersville School, so he's worked it out with his principal and with our principal and everything that he will actually be here, you know, all 3 periods.
Okay.
Right now, Chapel Hill and Cornersville only get to come for the first block of the day, and then they have to go back at 9:15, 9:30.
9:30.
But so he'll be over here.
Yeah.
Becca's on his 3rd year as well. He teaches machine tool. That machine tool is one of the newer programs that we have. We just recently moved out of the old paint booth where we were cramped up into the wood shop that we had to close to make space for him. So if you don't go to any other of the shop programs, you need to go down and look at that one, because we have some new equipment in there that is really second to none in any high school, but many post-secondary schools. There's a definite opportunity for our students to learn some things there that will put them ahead of the curve when it comes to competing for jobs. So he teaches machine tool, also teaches a little bit of engineering. And I forgot to mention, he and Mr. Musgrave both teach a middle school engineering program where we're trying to recruit students to get them in the door.
Mr. Pickle, what all do you teach here?
Manufacturing, machining, and I also do middle school technology and engineering. Bring those guys over here as well. We got three levels of the machining. We got a basic introductory class, then the more advanced levels on up to the second and third levels, and trying to get these guys to where they know a good trade, to have a background to rely on, and maybe the knowledge to read prints and understand and know what to do on processes and things like that. Probably what I need to change. I think be different advancement actually as well. Two houses. Yeah, we took them back.
What else are you doing? Morning, like I said.
Well, we're going to get a couple, maybe three manuals. I got the CNC that is also manual, but I'd like to have a couple or three more. We're going to try to do that. They're trying to double our manual build.
Then you wind up working down there for him?
Yes, sir.
Doing it in the machining?
Is these brand new machines?
Every Saturday.
Brand new.
Got breaks.
I didn't know if some of the other, went online and found some of the manufacturers that make them.
Everything we got.
How many students do you normally have in here, about average?
That's, right now, average is 13, or 16, starting in January.
16 kids.
That's a whole lot.
How many seniors you got?
Right now, 5.
5 seniors.
Five seniors.
They're gonna be looking for a job for too long.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's 2 of them right here. One going to.
What's your name?
Cameron Millwater.
Cameron Millwater?
Nice to meet you. Daniel Brooks.
Daniel Brooks?
He's going to go to TTC for machining, and Mr. Brooks is going to UT Chattanooga.
You teach Chattanooga. What's your ultimate goal? I mean, where are you looking to?
I'm looking to major in business and marketing. Take over my granddad's diecast company eventually one day.
Where's that at?
Down below Walker's. Atco Diecasting.
Yeah, Mr. Brooks. Love right there now. I think we're all right. Then what are you looking to do?
I'm going to TT Sheffield as soon as I graduate. I'm going to do additional maintenance, and after a little while I'm going to do machining, so I'll be more valuable. I have 2 things under my belt.
So you coming back to Marshall County?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's great. Love to have you. A lot of talent.
I like it here.
Well, that's great. Well, you talk to him, he take over his granddaddy's business, he can hire you as soon as you graduate.
That's it. And Mr. Adams is the first classroom, and you said he's the first classroom as you come in the front door. He teaches electrical and engineering, but one of the things that we're going to be wanting to show you within a year or so is a new program that we're going to start with Mr. Adams is going to start as a industrial maintenance / advanced manufacturing type class. It's not something that we've ever had before. It's something that we're really looking forward to. We think it's something that will really benefit the industries in town. It's something that we've been hearing through these advisory council meetings for 3 or 4 years now, and we finally have gotten to a point where we think we can pull it off. The state has provided the curriculum for it, which didn't exist before. So anyway, some good things to come in his class, and he'd love to tell you about some of those things as you visit his classroom.
Mr. Adams, can you describe the class that you teach here?
Teach electromechanical. That's what Wesley's actually doing. He's learning how to program the Scout or Motor Man robot. And if you come on back here, you can actually see. I've got a student who's actually wired up. This is a simulation of how a house is wired up. He's got all his switches, receptacles, fluorescent lights. Yes, that's what you want to go on. Make sure that you don't need to like residential electric. You're going to go electrical like somebody's house.
good insurance, because if something happens, it's your responsibility to fix it. So you got to really know what you're doing and have good insurance if you want to go into this type of business. But having Mr. Adams, I mean, I came from not even knowing a lick about electrician to wiring something like this, you know, in just a 9 weeks, was it 9 weeks?
This looks like fancy documents.
So if he can find any mistake in the answer to these things, I'm not doubting my mind.
So if you tell it to go so many thousands of inches this way,
You can, but
like a grid,
we could go pick up that first block. You know, just off that I want they can run this entire penny without even looking at it. But I just want the second nature to like a video game. So all he's doing now is entering a position. He'll take it to a position, enter that position. Another position, enter that position. He tells it which path to follow, basically.
Mr. Hooper. Mr. Hooper is back in South 40, all the way back to the bank. He teaches automotive technology. This is his first year with us. He replaced Mr. Pacheco, that some of you remember. Mr. Pacheco had some health problems, and we were fortunate enough to be able to replace him with Mr. Hooper, and feel very fortunate. And you know, I'll take this opportunity to throw in, it is difficult to find good people who know the trade and can teach it, because those are two separate skill sets, and it is not common to find those two things in one person. But I think Mr. Hooper fits the bill, and right off from the get-go on day one, it was obvious that he was going to be able to do the job, and we're proud to have him.
Mr. Hooper, can you do an overview of the type of class you teach here?
well, this semester I'm teaching what's called a transportation core, which is kind of a beginning class, kind of give them an overview of the automobile from its basically from where it started to where it is today. So we go over all the different systems in the automobile, and then our upper level class is our steering and suspension class, where the ultimate goal of that class actually they will be able to do a wheel alignment. So done a lot of replacement and repair and diagnostics on that. It's been a great class. We've had a good time.
How many students do you have this year?
I've got about 70 between the three classes. I've got 2 automotive classes with 23 to 25, and then I also teach a careers management class that vary between the upper teens and low 20s.
And your goal is really twofold. One is to make them workforce ready in the automotive industry, but also just to make them repairman ready.
Sure, yeah, because everybody's not going. I realize that out of those 25 guys that are in this steering suspension class, 25 of them are not going to make a career doing alignments. But if 5 of them do, 6 of them do, that's a wonderful thing. But the ones that don't, how much more versatile are they in a repair situation, either for themselves personally or as for a living?
Oh, I didn't tell you. Oh, I was like,
That's fun.
Oh, I know. I know. Talking to him, about what his needs will be. Been talking with Ricker over at Stammick now, talking to them about what their needs are. So what type of training and stuff to get these guys in the workforce. And that's what we're trying to do. And the ones that maybe don't go that far with it, then they know how to fix their own stuff. And, so is that...
Our senior member of the faculty, Mr. John Barron, he teaches welding. As 17 years. I always have some really good projects come out of the welding shop. I think we have a couple of deer stands back there if anyone's interested and wants to buy their husband a Christmas gift. So again, a really good opportunity to teach some students some things that they normally wouldn't have the opportunity to, and we're proud of that program as well.
Mr. Barron, could you talk just a little bit about your welding class and the type of welding you teach?
Well, we have basically 3 weldings. We have what we call the intro to welding, which is wire feed or MIG welding. And then we go to a beginner's welding, which is stick welding. And then our advanced welding is TIG, which is welding on aluminum, steel, and stainless steel. And it is our most advanced level. You have to go through the other 2 to get to it. And the TIG welding, we also teach them how to braze with a torch. You know, the old-fashioned torch brazing where you use a brass rod and braze up something with torch, which is what you would do with any cast iron metal is torch brazing versus welding with a stick welder or a MIG welder. But MIG welding can be done on any metal made just by simply changing the shielding gas and the filler metal.
How many students do you currently have?
This semester I only have 2 welding classes, and I have right at 30 students in the 2. Next semester after Christmas I'll have 3 welding classes, and I'll have right at 60 in all 3 of those.
So for this year, around 90 students?
90 students all total. Now I did have one other class this semester, which was a CMS or Career Management Success class, which teaches the students how to, instead of you've got a checkbook to balance it, teach them what type of job they need to supply the income that they need to live like they want to live. It's kind of right the opposite of financial planning. Instead of you've got this much money, how are you going to pay your bills? Okay, you want to live this lifestyle, it's going to take X amount of dollars to do it. You need to make X amount of dollars, you have to have X kind of job, you have to have X education to have that job.
You've been doing this for 17 years. Do you have an estimate of how many students you've taught welding in Marshall County during that time?
I'd say well over 1,000 to 1,500.
Actually, right next to Ms. D and right across the hall is Mr. Henry. Mr. Henry teaches criminal justice. Again, students love Mr. Henry. He has a small room, and it's always an issue about how many kids we can fit in because so many want to take his class. He does a really good job getting those students ready. And,
okay, I'm Ryan Henry. I teach here at Spot Lowe Vocational. I teach criminal justice 1, 2, and 3. In my classes, we talk about everything from amendments to the penal systems. You know, I have classes that pretty much are stacked every semester. I enjoy this job. Got some great kids, got some great teachers that I teach with, and it's been a blast so far. So if anybody's interested, come sit in on one of my classes, and I'd like to see you there.
Mr. Henry, how many students do you currently have this year?
This year I have around 75. About 75 students. I think around 25 maybe each class. So I'm pretty much booked each class.
Ms. Gina Borden, she is our cosmetology teacher, has been for, is this the 9th year? 7th year. Does a fabulous job, does a really good job. Our room stays full of students all the time wanting to learn more about that. And probably of all the programs we have, she has had more go on to receive their state credentials of any program we have in the county program. So we're really proud of her. She's also been our school teacher of the year twice in a row.
Oh, wow. I'm Gina Borden, and I teach cosmetology. And I've been teaching 7 years.
How many students do you have in your class?
I have about 60 students. I have had up to 75 one time before. That's a lot now.
Across the hall, Ms. Kathy DeMunder. Has had a long career in hospitals and has been here for how long now?
12 going on 13.
She's been here for 12 years, does a really good job. Again, her classes stay full of students, and students love Ms. D. That's Mama.
She's good at patching up the students from the shop class.
There is some of that too.
I'm Kathy DeMontgomery. I teach health science. This year I have 73 or 4 students this semester.
And how many years have you been teaching over here?
This is going on 13.
Would you say health sciences that you teach today is different from when you first started?
Definitely. There's quite a few more advances in the medical field.
Do you need to pursue a career in the health field to take your course?
No, sir. It helps if you do, but no, sir, you don't have to.
Do you find that most of your students are interested in a healthcare career when they take your course?
I would say 90% of them are yes, sir. And most, the ones that are interested, they go on. They go to college or go on to a career like a massage therapy. There's a lot of facets that they can go into a medical career. It's not just nursing or not just medicine. Dane over here, he wants to be an anesthesiologist.
So where are you planning to go when you graduate from Marshall County High School?
I'd like to go to Knoxville.
And have a career as an anesthesiologist?
Yes, sir.
Great.
And he'll do it. I have no doubt whatsoever that he'll be able to do that.
All right, well, pretty much you can go on CAD, and you can print out, make things on the computer to print out whatever you want. And then you program it on here, and as you can see, it comes in, and all it is a layer of powder, and then a lay glue, and then powder and glue, and it just keep going up and make whatever you want. And then you just take it out, bring it over here, clean it off, dip it in some more glue, solid it up, and you have your prototype. That's just about all it is.
Can you give me an example of something you've 3D printed recently?
We have a whole table of stuff. I mean, this is a guy in our class. His name is Tyler Seacrest. He made a house on Inventor and then printed it off. I mean, we've got a wheel. I don't remember who did this, but somebody made this wheel.
Mr. Adams.
Mr. Adams, our teacher, did this and printed it off on there. I mean, we just have all this right here. Oh, I want you to know. And these are projects that we've been working on. Like this is the copy jam detector. We have lights and indicators. If a paper was to run and hit 2 sensors at the same time, a buzzer would go off, and then it would indicate a paper jam. And then the buzzer would cut off once it's opened back up.
Or both the light is cut off from the sensor, it'll make a buzzer like a copy jam. So it's pretty neat.
The Spot Lowe Technology Center is keeping Marshall County students in tune with the future.